servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
BrainShare Business Mentors proudly presents BrainShare.us, the ultimate business education platform, delivering the proven systems, processes, tools, and knowledge that empower you to build the business of your dreams. With 13 high-powered courses encompassing over 240 lessons accessed online on your schedule. Running a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. We've helped thousands of business owners gain the leadership, communication, and business skills needed to build the business of their dreams. We can help you. Choose your learning path. Scuba Squad is the premier membership program for today's business leaders with access to all BrainShare material and double our money-back guarantee. BrainShare Basics, the ultimate business framework course, a hard-hitting 13-week program to lay the necessary foundation to build the business of your dreams. Or take individual courses as you need them. Every course has dozens of lessons, with video, practical exercises, precise documentation, and the opportunity for direct feedback from a BrainShare mentor. All programs have our exclusive 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked, don't wait. Choose your path and start today.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Doing business and life with a purpose. Serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to learn how to do business and live life to make an impact in the world. I want you to think as you listen to my incredible guest today, how will you serve today and what impact will you create with that service? And I want to thank my sponsor, BrainShare.us. At BrainShare Business Mentors, our purpose to empower entrepreneurs and business owners to create a thriving business that works without you. While most owners possess valuable technical abilities, the path to building a genuinely successful business requires skills beyond technical expertise, like sales, marketing, financial, process design, and documentation. Our mission is to help you create a business that's profitable, ethical, socially responsible, environmentally aware, and a positive influence in the world. To get started today, go to www.brainshare.us. And I'm excited to have my guests. I've been looking forward to this for a month, 12 years in the NFL, so he made a huge impact there. But he's going to tell a story when he walked in the locker room for the first time, which he told me way back when I met him. And I've told many people this story, how when you walk into something, a community or a group of people, how you can see you could be different and do great things with that difference. Desmond, welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me on.
I'd love to start with that story when you walked in the locker room and you looked around and what you thought.
Well, you're talking about when I walked in with the Denver Broncos after being drafted out there?
Yep.
Yeah, so, I'm coming out of college, playing receiver, 4 years in college, but I was drafted as a tight end. And going into that locker room, I'm going into the two-time world champion Denver Broncos locker room. And I'm going into a locker room that has future Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe and two future Pro Bowlers, Dwayne Carswell, they call him House, that was his nickname, and Byron Chamberlain. And now watching these athletes, just watching them move, see how powerful they are, I was a little intimidated, and I really didn't feel like I was going to make that team at all, because typically teams, they keep 3 tight ends. But after I got my head straight, people kind of coached me up and got my mindset where it needed to be. I was able to make that team that year, and that was the start of a 12-year NFL career.
Fantastic. And you learned, and when you walked in the locker room, you had said, Man, thank God I went to Wake Forest, because I'm seeing a lot of these guys may not have the education that you got to start your incredible business you have now, right?
Yeah, so when you go into a locker room, you got so many different types of
Mm-hmm.
people, right? And the one thing that stood out as I got older in the NFL is that, man, I had a unique educational experience at Wake Forest, and I felt like I was better prepared at life, better prepared to go on and do something else than maybe more than the guys that were in the locker rooms with me. So I look back on those times and just thank God I went to Wake Forest. Thank God they made you go to class and they checked up on you. Thank God that they really push you to get your academics, because hey, when you're playing the game, you can't see 10 years down the road. You can't see 20 years down the road. Now, maybe a select few can, but most of us, we don't look 5 years down the road. We're only looking at what's immediate. So that's the only thing that we're preparing for. But Wake Forest had already prepared me a good deal for the afterlife before I even knew there was going to be an afterlife.
It's a great lesson. And I've talked to another NFL retired athlete, same thing. I forget what school he went to. So thank God I went here, because he's got a profitable business now. He took that next stage of his life like you are. Let's talk about bear down logistics. And one of the challenges you had was government contracts you're getting into. We talked about it in the green room. Talk about that.
So yeah, after 1.5 years of being in operations, we did pretty good for our full year in 2023. And now I was trying to figure out, okay, where do we go now to grow the business? And one of those areas we decided to go to was government contracts. I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I didn't know it was going to be like reading through an NFL rule book with 1.25-DE. And so now I'm actually right before I got on this podcast with you, I was in writing my first bid for a government contract. And so we probably won't win it. I'm writing it so we can go back to the drawing board if we do lose it and say, okay, what did we not do well enough? And what did the team that won it, what did they do? So it's so detailed, and it's and trying to source them and where to look for them and read through 125 pages of information just so you know what you're trying to bid on. There's a lot to it. And then that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And your sports background, I'm going to guess, but tell us, has that helped you with this challenge and other challenges launching a business? Because I see a big bridge between playing sports, NFL, or me, I played in junior college. Just playing sports, how much did it help you?
Yeah, sports teach you life. It teach you life, and I use sports to teach my son life, just like it taught me, like the concept of the improvement on a daily basis, right? So when I got a 12-year-old son that we go and work out in the mornings, and once he make gains and he's happy because he made those gains, and I say, hey, that's the same way you do in school. Like, you may not know how to do certain math problems, but after you practice it a bunch of times, now you look back and it's easy. And it's the same thing in business. You're going to have obstacles that you've never faced before, or that you've seen but you never had to go and attack it. And so I look at it like this: what are going to be my struggles? Let me identify those struggles. And it's just like making a game plan for a football game. Hey, what are we going to struggle with this defense, or what weapons do they have on their offense that we have to kind of prepare for, right? Same thing in the business world. What do I have to prepare for so I can get over that hump, so I can get to that next level? So I think just having that mindset of it's always going to be a challenge for you to get to that next level. And then you have to defeat that challenge if you want to win that game.
Yeah. What great father you are. What fatherhood. What a lesson you're teaching him. I'd love to be your son. That's great.
Sometimes it's tough on him, man.
Oh.
I'm not going to, but here's the thing. It's supposed to be tough, because if it's tough here, then when he gets out there, it's not going to be as tough. And that's the same thing in sports. If you practice hard, my high school basketball coach once said this: we have enough talent on this basketball team that the practices should be harder than the game. And now if you can go into life with that same concept, man, if you make your practice time harder than what you're going to face on the outside world, when you got to go and do that sales presentation or, whatever that is, then that's going to be so much easier if you put the pressure on yourself when you practice.
Yeah. And I always say in business, you're going to be uncomfortable. You got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable running or working a business. And that's what you're saying is you learn that uncomfortableness early. When it comes to you, that challenge, you can attack it. Like you said, man, it sounds simple and it's not simple, but you really break it down well. With your business, what is your mission with your business, your logistics company?
Oh man, so I wish I could. We just started this because we're 2 years old now. So when I first got started, we were just running, trying to get some revenue, trying to make some money. And now it's like, okay, we're kind of established a little bit as a young company, but let's get a focus. And so I don't have it in front of me. We just did our mission statement Monday. And it reads, bear with me, it reads, to be the most trusted freight brokerage by establishing world-class partnerships, processes, and systems, one package, one truckload, one client at a time. That's the mission. The vision is top 1%. We want to be top 1% of all freight brokerage logistics companies in the United States.
Business owners, founders, CEOs listening to this, which a number of them do, how important are those two things, vision and mission statement?
It's very important because now we're all tied together. So we're not all just working for, some random thing, right? We know what we want. And for me, I know what type of people I want so I can get to that vision, right? And so when they come into these doors and work for Bear Down Logistics, everybody understands that we need top 1% type people.
Yeah.
Right. And and those top 1% type people, those are the people that's willing to go the extra mile. Those are people that's willing to pitch in with their brother and say, okay, if you need help, give me a call. I don't care if it's 7, 8, 9, 10 at night. If you need help, just give me a call. So now we get that identity. We become who we are. But before we were just like a bunch of good, talented people, but not tied together. And we know how we want to get there by being the most trusted and having the best processes, systems, and partnerships. And now we can always go back and check, engage. Do we have the best processes? Are these systems at 1%? Are our partnerships, is that company that we're partnering with, do we see them as a 1% like we see ourselves? Now we have something that we can have checks and balances to gauge everything that we do. And that's so important to have.
You brought sports up again. That's the same thing when a new player comes in to the locker room. My locker room, but you're right. Tom Brady comes into Tampa Bay and he's going to play for a new team, New England. He's got to fit in, just like he's got to be tied with this top 1% of everybody else, right?
Absolutely. And that's the good thing about it. Now, when you think about bringing somebody else in, or you're thinking about adding a new technology or a new system, a new process, now you gotta put that up against, hey, what is our mission and what is our vision? Does it meet the standard? And if it doesn't, it's an easy decision.
His audience, these are $1 million tips. I'm serious. It's gonna make him millions. It could do the same because any industry, this is just general across the board.
Right.
Before we run out of time, we got a few minutes time left, but I want to talk about your podcast, why you started it, and what's your goal with that.
So I started the Principles of Winning podcast, and this is something that's been on the back burner for a couple of years now. But I just didn't know which direction I wanted to take it. I didn't know what my goals were for it. So it was just a couple months ago that I decided, okay, I understand what I want to do. Now I have a selfish side to that, and then I have a servant side to that. My servant side to that is just like we're doing right now. If I can bring on successful entrepreneurs, athletes, executives, politicians, and they can tell their stories, and we can gain the principles and the disciplines of what they were able to do to become successful. So now we can put that in our own arsenal to make us better. I want to be able to give that back to everybody by helping those stories get told. For me personally, like, and I never, some people hide from this stuff. I don't hide from it. I have a selfish ambition into this also. Now for myself, now I get to create relationships with people who, hey, I may not have had an end if I don't have a podcast, right? So, but now they're willing to come on and talk to me on a podcast. And that's a way for me to develop a relationship and continue to develop my network as I do that. And now I can be just like you and start connecting people together because now my network is continuing to grow. So there's two sides to it. There's that side that, hey, I'm benefiting from it. But at the other side, I want to serve. And the way I want to serve is to have these people tell those lessons of how they became successful.
That's what I teach. Your podcast is not Joe Rogan, 100 million from Spotify. Hey, we both take that if we got it, or somebody wanted to give us.
I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah, we'll never turn it down. But our vision and mission for podcasts, and I love that you said that, you build a network. Your network's your net worth, and you're seeing it from me. I've given you referrals, and we've talked about that. I'm so excited you're starting. People go, oh, there's 2.8 million podcasts out. I could care less. There's 360 million people out there. I don't need all of them.
Exactly.
You don't either.
And sometimes I have some of these conversations anyway, but I'm just having them over the phone. I'm thinking, man, it would be good if the world could have heard this, or the 200 people that may listen to it. It's good for those 200. If it's 20, it's good for those 20. I'm having these conversations anyway, so why not go ahead and broadcast it so everybody can hear these conversations? So the one thing that I recognize is that everybody don't have access, right? So everybody couldn't have just gotten my phone number from you got it from a mutual friend. You got it from I'm
gonna tell you right now, because you're Larry Kaufman.
You got it from Larry Kaufman, right? So, but everybody doesn't know Larry Kaufman to get my phone number, right? So you have access. Everybody don't have that access. So now I'm trying to give people access to Kevin Johnson, the global COO of Aon Corporation, and those type of people. You probably wouldn't get an opportunity to talk to that guy, but now you can listen to him for an hour and a half, talk about all the things that he talk about by accessing a podcast.
Yeah, and let's be real. That's how we met. Larry said, "Hey, Steve's got a podcast." We talked. You go, "Hey, I love doing business servant's heart. If I didn't have a podcast, an audience is nothing against me. There's no reason an 12-year NFL player talked to me, except I'm a great guy, but that's just my thought." But I love that because you're an NFL retired player. You have a network, but you're going out and meeting other people that can bring people in and build Bear Down Logistics, by the way. Coolest
Absolutely.
name ever, Bear Down Logistics.
Wouldn't have it no other way, right?
So what are you looking for in guests, and what do you want to get from the guests when they come on?
So I just want to get the stripped down version, not the politically correct, hey, I'm all buttoned up type version. I want to get the real story that people can benefit from, right? So and I've done, we're going to launch first Wednesday in March. And so I've done a handful of interviews. And the thing that I like about these interviews that, these people, these successful people, they're getting naked and they're saying, hey, there's nothing extraordinary about me. What I did is I took the ordinary and I put extra effort into it. And that made me extraordinary in the eyes of everybody else. But when I look at myself in the mirror, man, I didn't do anything special. I just kind of worked hard, stayed disciplined, stayed committed, stayed focused. And then, like Kevin said, I always tried to offer more value to people than I had to give and do the extra. He had something that was so fantastic. He said that the growth in the value is on the outer edge of your job description. So powerful. And I was like, I love that. Because that's where it's at, right? Because if you just stay in your little, hey, I got this job description and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to try to expand that. Well, you can never grow.
Yeah. And you said special. I wrote it down. It's an interesting word. And I tell people, and you're the same way, we're not special, but we're special. We took action.
Right.
The step that a lot of people, and that's what you did starting your podcast. How many years have you been waiting to do it or thinking about it?
Yeah, over 2 years now.
Yeah, look at that. And you're launched. Look how excited you are about your podcast. But by the way, it's going to help your business too.
Absolutely.
You're going to meet those connections. Like, I'm going to throw it out here live is I've got a connection to Vincent A. Fox in Mexico, and I know you have logistics to Mexico. This is the power of podcasting. If I could get him connected to you and he gets in Vincent Fox's, the ex-president of Mexico's network, game changer.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. It's just being good people and bringing value. I love what Kevin Johnson says, because that's what a servant heart does. Every person you meet bring value.
Right.
You know, one thing I want to talk about, I'm reading your bio, you had a tough growing up. You used to light your father's crack pipe. How did you become such a great guy today after going through all that?
It was because of that. That was one of the reasons that I decided, at an early age that I didn't want to go down that road, because I seen what it did to my father and then what it did to my family because of what it did to my father. Luckily my father was able to recover, and he's been clean for damn near 30 years now. Since I was 17 years old, he got clean. But during that, from what I knew, it was like 10 to 12 years, that it just damaged everything about him, our family. And those are not only the effects that everybody know about, but the effects of when you're blind father, and he was blind because he was shot because he was living the wrong lifestyle. And so when your blind father is asking you to light his crack pipe, and you sit right there and see him smoke crack, and then they go off into this other dimension, and you're just sitting there, that does something to you. It can do a few things to you. It can kill you, or it can give you life. And it's a choice of which one you want it to do for you. And I just chose that I wanted it to give me life. So I decided to use that as a fuel of, I know what I don't want. I didn't necessarily know what I wanted. I know what I didn't want. And that drove me.
Yeah. And it's the universe, God, I think it's God, but whatever. That started at the age of 12. Your son is 12 right now.
Yeah.
You've taken those lessons and make sure he doesn't go down that path, right?
Right. And so it's a whole nother story with my son too, because I had to go and rescue him from Africa when he was 10 years old, because my ex-wife took him and moved over there, and basically kidnapped him without telling me. And after months of trying to figure it out, he texted me a couple times, "Hey, Dad, can you find a way to bring me back to the United States?" And I looked at my calendar and I said, okay, I'm gonna take this week and I'm gonna go fly over to Africa, because the U.S. government and any other entity couldn't tell me, okay, these are the steps that you got to take to get your son back. But my son had done asked me a couple times to bring him back. What am I going to do as a father? I'm not going to tell my son, well, I don't know what to tell you, son. I'd rather die. I'd rather go to jail. I'd rather risk my life to make sure that my son has the life that he wants and deserves. And that's what I was willing to do, because, again, going back to my father and how I wanted that relationship with my father to be, that's what I want the relationship with me and my son to be.
That's so powerful. It's amazing how your life has just intersected in so many different ways, from the NFL to college to your son to what your logistics. And that's everybody. We all have challenges. We have stories. Is that kind of the lesson that you learned and that share with others?
Absolutely. It's life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my life is different from everybody else's. I can't say my life has been more difficult than anybody else's, because it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
What's difficult to me may be easy to somebody else, and what's easy to somebody else may be difficult. So it's all relative, right? But we all have a story, and I feel like we should all share our stories, because there's somebody else out there that could benefit from your story. Nothing under the sun is new.
Yeah. No,
Nothing is new.
yeah, it's so true. Man, I could talk to you all day. This is just getting me fired. I'm not a father. I have stepkids. But fathers, if you're listening out here, please listen to this a few times. There's some great lessons here. The last question, and we could, real quick, is you talked about we're going to go geek out on football right now. I'm a big football fan. My uncle actually played for the New York Giants back in the 50s. So I've got a background with that. You talked about building the best 53-man roster of all NFL players ever. How long is that going to take you to do, and how excited are you?
It's going to take me a few weeks to do it, but I have some people already on my team. So I'll tell you that my receivers are Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. My middle linebacker is Ray Lewis. I'm partial to him for a couple reasons. He's a great linebacker, but I also played with him in high school and we're from the same town. My free safety is Ed Reed. I'm going with Olin Kreutz as my center. Now there may be some debate on that. Olin Kreutz should be in the NFL. I mean, in the NFL Hall of Fame. 8 Pro Bowls, 8 consecutive Pro Bowls. So,
wow. But
there may be some debate to say, yeah, he may not be the best. Okay, I played with Olin Kreutz. You can't get any better than Olin Kreutz. And then the biggest debate comes at quarterback, right? So
yeah.
So now, you have 3, and really you can only pick 2. So you got Joe Montana, you have Tom Brady, and you have Patrick Mahomes. Now you have this debate of, is Patrick Mahomes the GOAT? And I say no, because he hadn't done it long enough yet. He has the best start of any quarterback in history. It's just the start. If he falls off and never wins another championship and still plays at a high level, he can still get there. But today, I'm not willing to say it. Is he on his way? Probably so.
Yeah.
But if I got to start my NFL team, he's my quarterback. He's my quarterback.
I'm a Niner fan, and I'm Montana with you, and Brady grew up in the Bay Area. I watched him play high school, so we could do a whole podcast on this, and maybe we'll come back and do that. This is so great.
Left tackle. Left tackle was another one.
Well, who's that? Who would you pick?
Anthony Munoz. Tony Baselli for the Jackson. So when I was saying this, people didn't remember that name. I was like, it was only because he played in Jacksonville. Yeah. I was like, Tony Baselli was one of the best of all time. Yeah. So you got guys like Joe Thomas. Like this conversation can be debated for days, and I love it. So it's going to take me a little while to put it all together, but we'll get there.
And this is Desmond's best for 53. I'm going to do it as well. It's Steve's best 53. It's not, that's the whole idea. Exactly. And I want to thank you for being on. Real quick, how can people reach out to you? And name of the podcast again so people can find it.
Yeah, the name of the podcast is Principles of Winning. We'll be launching on the first Wednesday in March. And I'm all over social media. Most of my handles is at Des Clark, DEZCLARK, the number 88. And I'm not hard to find. If you really want to go and find my stuff, I'm out there everywhere.
Perfect. I'll have stuff in the show notes. And I want to thank Desmond for being on. I want the audience, I want you to think about this. He just gave you father and business tips that are golden. I mean, it's the Heisman Trophy of tips. Go back and forward and reverse the podcast. It's why I love them. You could take the 20 and 25 minutes ago. He talked about his child, 12-year-old, and his father, and use that to grow yourself, because that's what me and Desmond want you to do. We'd be so happy if we just affected you in some way. Reach out, comment on a YouTube channel. Don't forget about my TV show, Together We Serve, every Friday from 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Podcast swag. I'll have the link in the chat. I want to thank you all for listening, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of Doing Business with the Servant's Heart.